Hello, 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 everybody. Hi, guys. Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Okay, welcome back to this week's episode of Vybez TV. Everybody, guess what? Guess what, y'all? We're in studio this week, and we have guests on the panel. Okay, we got the ladies from the Rooted Collective on deck. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
Okay, so one by one, I'm just gonna have everybody from Rooted kind of introduce themselves. We're gonna, let them talk, tell us who they are, and then we're just gonna, be nosy and ask them some questions like we normally do. So first off here, Miss Mazana, hi.
Hello.
How's everything?
Beautiful.
So-
Peace, love, and light, everyone. My name is Mizana, and I am the holistic director of medicines at Rooted.
And what else?
A legacy
Tell them everything.
company.
tell them everything.
And I'm a certified holistic practitioner. I am online Instagram at Ms. M-I-Z Munir _holistic _practitioner. Join me on lifestyling. That's when we come on and I have hosts, and I'm a host with my guests, and we talk about wellness and what it is that wellness looks like for them. So I am inviting you to my Instagram live, which is happening tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. Just go to Ms. Munir, MIZMUNIR _holistic _practitioner. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, Tiana.
Hello, my name is Tiana. I am the curator of the experience of TT by Tiana Taylor. We flow through yoga, both in class form and applied to the body. I'm a Thai bodywork practitioner. I'm also a doula and a Reiki master.
Okay. And Miss Krista.
Peace. I'm Krista Bloom, the Kind Coco Mama. I am a space holder. I teach restorative yoga, and I'm also a somatic embodiment practitioner. And some folks know about embodiment and some don't. So a little bit about embodiment. When you are feeling sad versus when you're feeling angry, jealous, joy, how do you know what you're feeling? You know because your body tells you, right? So there's sensation in your body that gives you wisdom, right? And so when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling sad, what do we usually do? We come here. We have the narrative, we rationalize it, we try to minimize it, understand it. Embodiment is about going back into the body and feeling what we're feeling and being with what we're holding. And so that is what I do. I facilitate that. I help people do that because we are nature, right? We're made of the same thing that Mother Earth is made of. And what happens when Mother Earth is feeling things and she's sending signals and we don't listen? There's wrath,
Sure
right?
is.
There's wrath, right? And so we're made of the same elements. And so when we're not in tune with those signals, our body responds. So I help folks with that.
So Krista, since you're already talking, tell us, how did you get into embodiment? How did you step into that realm of healing?
That's a good question. So I got into embodiment because first I was disembodied. So I was a person who really moved through the world in my head. I was always overthinking and critical and trying to understand. I had anxiety, I still do. And when I found embodiment, when I found coming out of my head and getting into my body and feeling what I was feeling, and that there was nothing I needed to do, right? I didn't need to fix anything, change anything, that all I needed to do was be with what was. And it was so healing. My body was able to digest what I was feeling and then send that wisdom up.
Yes.
And it was just revolutionary for me. And I think that we have a healer at Rooted, Hannah, who talks about healer's initiation.
Absolutely love Hannah.
Hannah.
Hi,
Hannah. Hannah does beautiful sensual movement. She's a fairy. She's a goddess. She's everything. And she talks about that healer's initiation. And I don't so much resonate with the term healer, but I resonate with that, with going through something ourselves, experiencing it in our own bodies, and it brings us to whatever it is that we then share.
Yeah.
So that is definitely what happened for me.
Okay, so I think that's the best way to come into a healing practice, right? Because once you use it on yourself multiple times, it's oh, so this does work. Maybe I should try giving it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? I can imagine it was similar with you in the yoga. How did you get into yoga?
was something that I needed to do, and then it turned into a thing where it transitioned from verb to noun because it was part of, I love how you always say, like, your lifestyle is your practice. So if you're already doing something, I resonated so much when you talked about through the body. That's where up here and bringing all the energy and everything from this focus when your body's got so much to tell you and picking up on so much. So that was my journey. I happened in yoga class. My friend brought me to Bikram. It's hotter than hot yoga. I was like, oh, okay, so bring me to the levels of, the deep south to really understand and get in tune. So that was my journey. I trained through hot yoga, so that was experience in and of itself the whole time. But that process of listening, and then like your body talks. Everyone's so quiet, so you're hearing cracks, you're hearing openings, you're feeling it, and it's like you crave it and you want to get back there. So that wanting to get back where I was at peace, where I found safety on my mat, that's where I had kind of like grown into.
So what's your favorite form of yoga? Because I know there are or maybe you could tell the viewers like some of the different forms of yoga. Yoga moves with the breath. I took through vinyasa, so everything was flowing through that. I had a very interesting experience because for me to access my body, the easiest way, like the cheat sheet was chakras. So much information on chakras. You connect, it's literally in your body, and then going from there, that knowledge, realizing to have like a self-assessment process so you can really help and grow. That's what that was. So something that has to do with chakras, the moving, with the breath. I had a very unique experience during training because everyone's practice is super Sanskrit and that, and everything I wanted to go back to. And they're like, that's hatha. And I'm like, if I'm moving with the breath and I'm doing this with intention and I'm doing this as I'm trained, everything's safe. Like, this is how we're going to explore through the chakras with breath. And that was my whole time. And very interesting that Mike's that throat chakra, because that's the one, like, I can be loud, I can be quiet, I can have that transition, but I was like a mute during teacher training, the breathing, the heat, all of that. So I really had to find my voice within the wellness of me within that. That was not the present voice because I had to grow her. So yoga definitely, in your opinion, yoga helped you to kind of find that footing in that voice.
It was you can't get off the mat because you're all the way over in the corner. You got to step over a lot of people practicing. So that mat was where it was at for 75 minutes. And that's where all the awakening was happening. Shavasana hit really different after really getting through all that. And then to just sit in, your body's been listening to someone else guide you. Of that. So that journey, I only took a few studio classes before I was like, I gotta learn this because there's something bigger than just yoga happening here, and I want to know, I want to be trained. So that was my journey. And
I kind of think that's what it is with all spiritual practices, right? It's like you do them, and then it's like, wait, it's bigger than what I thought it was. Like, this is deeper than, like, okay, I thought I was just starting here. Now I'm knee deep, and I didn't even think I was gonna be this deep. So.
And I know a lot of people look at yoga and think of the physical aspect of yoga, and that's what it is that they say. They say, oh, yoga, and it's physical, but yoga means union. And so if you bring that onto the mat, yoga union with the breath and my body, with the breath and meditation, with sitting, listening, all yoga means is union. So you don't even have to do the physical if you don't want to. You can do the breath and meditate. Yeah. That's yoga. So just for clarity, yoga isn't physical. Yoga means union. So
okay. Since we talking over here, right? I know you talked about your stylings, right? Outside of the styling, so what would you say is your favorite modality for spiritual healing?
The breath.
Breath work,
most definitely. I'm a rebirther, and I will take anyone through the breath and change their life. The breath, once you start to understand what the breath can do, you wouldn't really need anything else. If you're in pain, use your breath. True. If you're anxious, use your breath. If you're depressed, use your breath. You don't really need anything else, but it's how we use the breath that's important.
I honestly agree. Because anytime you hear anybody, a doctor, anybody, if you're worked up, what do they tell you? Take a couple deep breaths. Oh, just relax, take a few deep breaths. It's going to be okay.
Correct.
It's the breath of life, yeah.
It is. So I am, breath work is the foundation for everything for me.
Do y'all hear that? A couple, just a few minutes a day of deep breathing, a few minutes a day of you just sitting with yourself and quieting everything can literally change your life a little bit at a time. It's not really anything too extra hard.
You're doing it anyway.
And you're breathing subconsciously, okay?
In a sense, but we also have to remember mindfulness and also the type of breathing. When you're in fight or flight, you breathe in the upper cavity. So you're preparing to do something.
Diaphragm.
Either you're running or something. You have to drop that breath so that when you inhale, the belly extends. And when you exhale, it deflates. If it's not doing that, then you're up here in your fight or flight. And that is going to produce even more anxiety for you. So you want to be mindful of that.
I think a lot of us should be able to relate to that, right? Because once you start panicking, what happens? You're doing a lot of shallow breathing, anxiety attacks, a lot of shallow breathing. So listen, everybody, make your way to one of these amazing ladies' social media pages. Okay, we're gonna get into it a little more in depth, but I just had to put this in here. Make your way to one of these ladies' pages, okay? Because there might be something you think you know, and with a little more clarity, you can learn a lot more, right? So we're talking about spirituality. We're talking all things healing today. How did Rooted come about? Who wants to be the brave soul? And tell us how Rooted came about.
2019, previous duo owner had opened a wellness studio in South End, Albany. It was intentional to be in a community that didn't have a stereotypical yoga studio and also welcome and bring wellness experiences to the community for people that looked like the community that they were in. So that was the intention, and then we transitioned to Rooted, a legacy company last year.
Sounds good to me.
And so the owners of Rooted, a legacy company, is Yvette Stovall and Sherman Stovall. And
Yvette and Sherman.
Yes,
hey guys.
And they also own Legacy Behavioral Health. I just needed to put that in.
Okay, no. So wait a minute. I did have a question, but let's segue there real quickly. So we're talking about spiritual, right? The spiritual aspect here being covered by Rooted, and then we have Legacy, who are the owners of Rooted. So really quickly, tell them a little bit about what Legacy does and how those kind of intertwine.
Sure. Legacy Behavioral Health supports mental health, individuals who are suffering or experiencing mental health issues. It's a clinical format. It's a clinical type setting. So therefore, it is behavioral. You can get your psych medications there. You can speak with clinicians there. We have many different areas that Legacy manages. Rooted, however, we are the spiritual, the kunda holders, and we hold sacredness for individuals who are looking for maybe not clinical work, but they're looking to go a little deeper so that they can maybe have the mind-body connection. They can work from heart space. They want to experience hypnotherapy in a spiritual level. They want to. We are 3 doulas right here, and so I'm a neurolinguistic doula, and Tiana is a
full spectrum.
Full spectrum.
So from fertility to birth and postpartum.
Oh wait, say it a little bit louder.
I said from fertility through birth and postpartum. Postpartum is my gig though. I really like it.
Okay, and how about you, Krista?
Yeah, same full spectrum doula and also a bereavement doula.
Yes.
So, Krista, let's start with you. When did you fall in love with spirit?
I love that question. I fell in love with spirit when I had my first daughter. And seeing my belly ripen, seeing my baby, I could cry, seeing my baby being birthed, seeing her face for the first time was just the most profound healing experience of my life. And I felt the magnitude, the power of what I could do, you know, to create something so beautiful, such a miracle was just, I just didn't know I was capable of something like that, you know, and it brought me into a place of revering my body, revering what I could do, but also wanting to be a mother for her that was healed or healing, because I think healing never ends, but a healing mother, and someone who could really hold space for her and everything that she would experience, will experience, you know. And so it brought me into myself and into my heart space, brought me into my pain, into my trauma, into my past, my future, everything. It really just like broke something open for me. And what is so interesting is, so I have 2 daughters, and that was the experience of my first daughter. My second daughter, she was born at home during a blizzard. Like, her birth, I had my first surge, and in 30 minutes, she was like in my arms.
Oh, wow.
The midwife barely made it. Like, it was just such a different experience, and I think both of their births are reflective of like where I was, you know, and that first birth was something that I didn't know if I could do it, and I was really like, I just wasn't in myself yet.
Yeah.
You know, that second birth, I was like in my power, in my goddess, and I just like birthed that baby on the floor in a squat. You know, my midwives weren't there. I wasn't worried about it. I lit my candles on my altar, you know, and now the relationship that I have with my daughters is also what keeps me in this relationship with spirit and relationship with wanting to grow and learn and heal. And you know, I motherhood is the best hood. Motherhood is just, I'm so grateful for it.
Tiana, how about you, my dear? When did you first fall in love with spirit?
I feel like any mom, me as a mom, that was mine. How I approach doula work is like through a chakra experience. So getting in tune with your body, but then also realizing like there's a bridge and they got their own chakras that you're literally growing and manifesting and watching expand, how you spoke about the growth that you occur. For me, the true falling in love, like what that showed me was like I grew some that grows from darkness. Like they the light that I feel attached to when I really got deep into shadow healing, because I don't like punching the clock about stuff. Thinking about the approach to shadow work and the healing work that's occurring, I realized, like, I remember I used to tell Lucian, like, I feel like you hear in cursive. And I had a vision in that work, and I was like, all of my walls of my shadow, once the light got illuminated to, was all in cursive. So this spirit that I had, the soul that I birthed Earthside, like, was the door in between, where like the door opened and closed real quick to see like there's light, this is where spirit resides. And from that place, more birth continues in my life from that. So that's definitely my connection.
Ooh. How about you, Mizana? When did you fall in love with spirit?
Falling in love with spirit. So my experience is a little different. I'm much older, and my journey is a little different. When I fell in love, my grandmother was very ill. I was maybe around 5, and she was ill because of the loss of her child, my uncle. I didn't know what was going on. I knew I loved my grandmother. She's in the bed, and she isn't moving. She isn't getting up. She isn't doing anything. So the first thing I started to do is to go to her, talk to her, shake her hand, rub her head, things like that. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 5, but I was being guided, right? So that was my first experience. I still didn't know, but it happened. But as I got older, hearing her in my head, I started to play with spirit because I was a non-believer. And so in playing with spirit, I would say things like, well, if this is true, show me. If this is what you're saying, or if this is what I need to do. Yeah, exactly.
I still do that.
Right? And then when it started to happen, and I started to understand it's not always in my time.
Yes.
Right?
Divine timing.
Right.
Yes.
It was and even though I wanted it when I wanted it, and I may even try to force something to happen, and then when it happens, I'm like, that's not really what I wanted, right? But if you wait for Spirit will give it to you at that time. And so when I started to understand that this is how this thing is working, and I really don't have to do anything, because as a doula, I'm a neuro-linguistic doula. I teach you how to change the way you think, create new pathways to understand that your body knows what to do. You don't have to do anything when it comes to having a child, right? And so in this whole process, I started to understand this thing called Spirit is real.
Yes. Very.
And I fell in love with it because I don't have to do anything. I can get up and I can say, okay, you know what? I really need to have more clients on my books. And the clients will come. You know, anything I ask for, it's right there.
Yes.
So once I started to live that life, my lifestyle is my practice. And that's what I teach my clients, how to be authentic and also how to bring their lifestyle into their practice. Then it's a simple thing. So I am totally in love with Spirit.
I know that's right. So you were talking, and while you were talking, you were basically saying, like, you know, I'm going to summarize a little bit, right? There's a gap, sort of. This is what I got from a little bit of it, right? There's a gap between Spirit, the Spirit that we know, and not necessarily maybe for us, but for our viewers, people that are going to be listening, right? How do you guys get your clients to bridge that gap between being afraid of Spirit and stepping into that, no, I know. I'm not afraid of it no more because I know. Like, have you guys had that experience? How do you guys get your clients to kind of step in that space of, like, I'm sure, I'm secure, I know this is where I'm at. Like, Krista made me feel so, like, secure about where I'm going. Like, after I left that session with Tiana, I know for a fact this is what I'm doing. Like, how do you guys get that through to your clients that may be feeling, maybe that's the best way I'll put it. How do you guys get that through to your clients that may be unsure or afraid of Spirit? And, you know, a lot of time we grew up in Christian homes and we came from that church background, really religious. So how do you guys bridge that gap?
Well, I think the first thing I always introduce my clients to is danger is real, fear is a choice, right? So if fear is a choice, you're choosing to be afraid. But when you look at the picture, the whole picture, and you start to understand what's going on, once you understand what energy is about, because nothing really dies, right?
Transform.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nothing dies.
Yes.
So what is it that you're really afraid of? You're afraid of what you're conditioned to think, right?
Yes.
And so once you kind of open that door and show them, like, this is a conditioning that you have. It isn't real. You're not in danger. Then I think from that point, you know, then you teach them about authenticity and how to bring their lifestyle into their practice and, you know, breath work and all that. But I think that's the first thing. Fear is its choice. Danger is real.
For me, anytime I ask a client to drop into their body, 90% of the time there's resistance. So if you're telling me and people are usually comfortable telling me with words, this is what I'm moving through, this is what I experience. When I say, okay, so how does that feel in your body? Where do you feel that in your body? There's resistance, there's a pause, and I think because of the society we live in, we are so disconnected from our bodies, and our body, in our like gut, in our being, is where Spirit speaks.
Yes.
So when we're disconnected from our bodies, we are disconnected from that bodily wisdom, from that universe wisdom, right? And so if I can get my client to drop in, just drop in, just tell me, you know, what's there. If I can get that going, then really my work is done, because then you're in your body and your wisdom takes over, right? Your wisdom is there and it's waiting for us. It is unbreakable. it is always there. It's always accessible. There's nothing we can do to get rid of that wisdom. It's always there, and so all we have to do is tap in. Sometimes when I'm having sessions with Mizana and I'm going through my things, what about this and what about that, and Mizana said, just tap in. Use the breath, tap in, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm back, I'm here. That's it, and it's so simple. It really is just there.
It is.
Well, what you just mentioned is the importance of having a good support system, a dope support system, right? Because even as healers, we still need healing. We still need people that we can go to. We still need people that understand where we're coming from and are like, Krista, breathe.
Breathe, tap in. Take a minute.
Okay, just no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got just literally a few minutes to the end of the show. So we're gonna start with Tiana here. Just closing messages from Spirit, something that you want to tell the collective, anything that Spirit is guiding you to give to the collective. Okay, we'll come back to Tiana. Okay, we'll come back to Tiana. Okay, Krista.
I would say ask the question. So take a minute, whatever the question is. Why do I do that thing? What is next for me? Why is this pattern happening? Whatever it is, smooth the waters. So breathe, meditate, whatever you do to get centered. And you might think of like water dropping in a pebble and watching the ripple, right? You drop the question in and listen. There will always be an answer. There will always be an answer. It might come in a feeling, a vision, or whatever it is, but there will always be an answer every time.
Absolutely love it. Mizana.
So for community, I would say to remember that you carry within you life, breath. And always remember that no matter what the feelings are that you're having, and it can also be positive feelings, tap in and give thanks for it. As long as you're here, you're alive, you're using your breath. So give thanks for the little things and always find joy, no matter what the situation is. Look for joy.
Yes, a little gratitude goes a long way, guys. Miss Tiana.
So my message would be tap into the grace in the moment where you need space and tuning back into taking that space unapologetically in reverence. I think that's important. And that with grace, if that comes with breath, if that comes with boundaries, if that comes with time that you need, tap into it.
Yes. Did you guys hear that? Okay. We're tapping in. We're not afraid to ask questions, and we're doing it all graciously, right? We're grateful. We're gracious. Guys, listen. First, we're going to thank our guests for stopping by. Okay, we're going to thank the Rooted Collective, Miss Mizana and Tiana and Krista. Okay, we're going to thank them for showing out. Okay, showing up and showing out. Everybody's looking good today, so we're all here, right? Everybody, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of Tarot Vybez TV. Okay, you guys know I appreciate it every single week, and you guys know how I leave you all the time. Same thing, right? From the top of your head to the soles of your feet and everything in between, guys, be healthy. Okay, be healthy, healthy, healthy. Our health is our true source of wealth, so if we don't have our health, we legit don't have anything else. Your physical health affects your spiritual and emotional health, and your spiritual and emotional health affect your physical health. So just be healthy all across the board, guys. Right? We're out of here. Deuces.